Hey everyone, Logan here from 1+ Armor. We're just at the venue for Capital City Bloodbath, just getting set up the night before. Just wanted to give you guys a quick sneak peek for what we got. So we've got about 44 people I think signed up already. So we've got a whole crap load of tables here. It's a huge venue for what it is. We've got I think three of the conference rooms here at the hotel. Got tons of great terrain. Almost all of it has been handmade by either Andrew from 1+ Armor or Chris Haynes from Can Hammer. We're going to have, well, this is sort of the admin area here. Tomorrow, Saturday, we've got a catered lunch. Also have catered lunch on Sunday. So it's going to be a 6-round tournament. Lots of great tables. Here's actually some of the ones that we made in our last video. See, turned out pretty well. And we had a bunch of sponsors come in for the tournament. Let's head over to the back table over here, give you guys a little idea of what we got. This is the stack of prizes from our various sponsors. So we got a whole bunch of stuff here. We got some Screamers, Skeletons, Demon Prints, Savage Orcs, Skull Crushers, Phoenix, a few Battalion boxes. We got our Capital City Bloodbath dice trays we're going to be using. I think we're raffling one away. Big stack of players packs here. Table markers. And there's a box of trophies as well for people that come in and do well down here. Won't show those off till tomorrow. And then over here we got some certificates for best in race. Got that for everything.
That's my rag bin from the garage.
This is going to be our top table. We're going to be filming all the games that are going to be here, as well as just doing some other tours and going around. Since this is a lot of the terrain here that I think Chris made, so it looks great. And once this all gets set up on the tables, we'll do another round. And here's some work I think Andrew did. This is going for the dwarf table that you saw in our last video there. So we'll get a couple other bits throughout the evening tonight as we set up. And we'll be back with you with a battle report later on, as well as some follow-up throughout the tournament over the weekend. Thanks.
Alright, so we're here with Nick, and it's Friday night just before the tournament. The hall's been set up, and I don't know, Nick, what do you think your predictions are for tomorrow?
Like, for me?
For yourself, for everyone else?
I think I might get lucky and win a game. And then I'm pretty interested to see what army takes the top spot. Will's going to steamroll through me, and that's going to shoot him up to the higher tier there pretty early on.
So you got your army painted? How long did it take you, do you think?
I started in the spring, kind of just here and there, you know, working out details. It's been 7 years since I played, so kind of relearning how to paint. And then when I signed up for Capital City Bloodbath and realized that we had to have painted armies, I've just been spending weeks till 1 a.m. trying to get, you know, some paint on them. I know the minimum is a couple colors, but I at least want to kind of get some shading, some, you know, nice, decent flock on the base so that it ties the whole army together at least. So yeah, no, it's been going well, got everything done. So in the coming months I'll
There's army there in boxes.
Add the details. Yeah, I don't have a tray yet, so I guess the next one is to have the actual display tray or whatever.
Well, what, we got a month, a little bit over a month for Chaos Ludic?
Yeah, that's right. So this will be good practice for Chaos Ludic. Continue to learn how to use the Lizardman, and then for Chaos Ludic, all I have to do for that is put together another 20 skinks for our assholery that we're going to be doing.
Our super secret army?
Yeah, super secret army.
Yeah, so at Chaos Ludic there's a doubles tournament one day and then a singles the next. So yeah. Me and Nick have teamed up for the doubles. So we got our super secret army coming up. Maybe we'll do a video, but don't want to give away our game plan right away.
Yeah. It's a high magic army if that gives away any hints.
Don't tell them.
Don't tell them, yeah.
So, you excited? Your first kind of real big tournament?
I'm kind of like little kid excited for this.
Little kid? Yeah.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. It's nice to see, I think, like you were saying, one of the benefits is the spectacle of it. You get to see, we've already got a couple of armies sitting around here on display, and it's really nice to see the work that people put into them, and you know, it's nice to see people coming together and just enjoying the hobby together. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And it adds a bit of flavor to it because if you play your same friend, you know, every week, it may dry out a little. But yeah, it adds some flavor to it, and it's nice to see people as passionate as you are about playing with toy soldiers.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll check in with you.
Thanks.
You know, end of Sunday, see how it goes.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
All right, guys, day 2, talking to Steve Gagne from the Northern Defenders. I played a game against him, and he smoked me, so we're just doing a little interview. Steve, why don't you tell us about yourself?
I've been playing Warhammer since 3rd edition, so it's been a long time.
Wow,
and I started to do tournaments about 2 or 3 years ago. So
cool.
And it's first time for Ottawa tournament. It's really nice setting. I like the venue. And so far I had four great games, even the one I lost against Ron.
Yeah, against Ron Demon.
Yeah, against Ron Demon I got crushed, but it was a fun game even though.
Apparently he's been doing a lot of crushing this tournament.
It seems. He seems pretty high on the table, so
okay.
he's good.
So, any upcoming events that you may be going to?
Well, we'll be holding the Chaos Lydic and ND Freak Show in Montreal on October 11 and 12, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm not mistaken. And on the Saturday, it's a double tournament for Fantasy and 40K. And on the Sunday, it's a single event for Fantasy and 40K. There's still place available. Only one spot left for the Fantasy single on the Sunday. So if you want to register, hurry up. But we're going to put a waiting list because we all know there's some dropouts, so don't be afraid, even though it's full, register and probably you're going to make it.
Great, we'll put those in the liner notes in the comments, some links to your tournaments. So what's your strategy going in for the rest of the day?
I'll try to win my 2 last games, so I finish with a good score, but I don't think I'm going to finish in the top 20. So
you got a prediction?
Hopefully top 20.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Great.
Above average.
All right. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Thanks.
All right, we're back here during day 1 of Capital City Bloodbath. Just going through game 3 for most people here. We've got our top table here. We've got John from Vermont with his Wood Elves against Jason, Ottawa local, with his Dark Elves.
He's very worried about me and my strategy. You know what, though? He's actually pointed out things before that it's like, Dad, why don't you
John's son is a master tactician.
Maybe I should do that. So I'm sorry if he gives me some awesome tactical insight. It's just
Going through, as you can see, we got a full house. I think we've got 40 players here right now. So tons of different types of tables set up. Lots of variety of armies. I think we have everything except Beastmen and Chaos Dwarves. You can see the venue itself is pretty enormous. But as for the 1+ armor team, well, I think I'm about middle of the pack right now. I lost my first game getting tabled. Second game was a 13-7 victory. And then third game, I tabled my opponent. So up at, what does that put me at? 24, 37 after 3 games, which is almost exactly middle of the pack. So we'll see how things go from there. Nick, any words for our viewers?
7 moons.
Don't take my tournament advice.
Okay, you heard it here, folks. Shit Lizardmen Players Say, Volume 3. We'll go find Andrew and get his thoughts on what's going on. Andrew, what's the good word?
I'm really hungover today, but I'm doing all right. So I won my first game, lost my second hard, and then just won slightly in this one.
Up against Ogres in this match?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we played in Petawawa, didn't we? We did. Yeah. Oh, good to see you out. Yeah. Excellent. So I think that puts Andrew Andrew and myself both about middle of the pack now, or a little, maybe him, maybe a little ahead. So we'll see how things go. We'll be back with a recap at the end of day one, hopefully with an overview of some of the festivities, and hopefully some sobriety left at that point. Hey guys, I'm here with Jon Green from Canhammer and Associated Groups.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure, so my name's Jon. I've been playing Warhammer since originally back in the mid-90s, but kind of dropped out of it like everybody does, same story. Dropped out of university, kind of got back into it about 5 or 6 years ago. Linked up with actually Chris Haynes and Canhammer in a tournament about 4 years ago. We kind of went to Rochester. I didn't know anybody, so I sent him an email and just said if you're looking for somebody to buddy up while you're down there, just hang out down there. So I've been part of the Canhammer crew since for the last 4 years or so. We have a regular podcast, talking everything Warhammer on there. I have 3 or 4 armies and play Orcs and Goblins primarily over the last couple of years. I have Dwarves, Warriors of Chaos. Been a tournament gamer for about 4 years now. Actually borrowed an Ogre army for this weekend, just to give it a shot, see something different. Chris roped us into coming up and having a good time. This is just finished game 5. Had a fantastic 5 games so far.
Awesome. So what got you into Warhammer originally?
Originally, a buddy of mine came back from, he had emigrated to the UK and then his parents decided to move back, and he came back with the, I can't even remember the name of it, but it's that Space Hulk, the original Space Hulk.
Space Hulk, okay.
Yeah,
yep.
So the original Space Hulk, and really liked it, and sort of got into Warhammer from that. Decided that, that when we tried to go and find expansions for it, or try to find it again type thing, and we ended up in a small store in Kitchener-Waterloo called the Gamers Guild. And they had a whole bunch of guys playing tabletop games, and thought, wow, that's really cool. Bought a starter box for 40K second edition, and that's what started. And then, playing in our teens on lunch tables and in the kitchen and whatnot, just like everybody else. There's no terrain, just stacks of books and that type of stuff. Yeah, so that started it. And then when I got back into it, I went to a local gaming store because I had a whole bunch of 40K models. Sort of showed up to a 40K night, but everybody was half my age, so decided that maybe 40K wasn't the right route to go.
Yeah.
So jumped in with a fantasy crew who was a lot older, and I come to tournaments. I play in our local gaming nights, but it's it's a fun game, but the social side and the good people are probably the reason that I've stayed in it as long as I have for the last 5 to 6 years.
I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you've been going to a lot of tournaments over the past four years or so. What advice would you have for people who are sort of apprehensive about getting into the tournament scene, or are just looking to get into it but don't quite know what to expect?
Sure. So a lot of things is you can reach out to the TOs. A lot of TOs really want new players to come in. I mean, it's the lifeblood of this hobby that we all do. Some people, for whatever reason, have to drop out of the hobby, but we need new players coming in. And if you reach out to the TO, say I'm new, can you link me up with anybody? A lot of times, it's there's no reservations about coming. There's in the 6 years that I've attended tournaments, everybody gets invited out to dinner after the event. If you want to have beers with somebody during the event, I mean, as long as you've got sort of let's go with average interpersonal skills, you can usually link up with people and have a great time.
Yeah.
You can be on the bottom table and having a great time. We've had some fantastic players here that are really good Warhammer players with top-notch armies that have lost 4 games and are on the bottom tables. So, I mean, you don't have to be embarrassed about coming out and thinking, oh, I'm going to lose, or how do I play? We have, actually, it's funny, right now, as the Canhammer crew, John Sukert, who, if you've listened to Canhammer, has been on a couple times, is probably the weakest member of our club, and he's on table 1 right now. Playing for potentially the tournament, and just come out, have a good time. No one's going to judge you whether you're good or bad, as long as you're a good sport and you just have some good laugh when something funny happens in the game. Grab a beer, grab a drink, have a good time. That's it. And there should be no apprehensiveness to coming to events. The only thing you might have to watch out for is if you're playing in your local gaming group and someone thinks it's cheesy, expect a lot of that at the tournament. So that's
yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, thanks very much, Jon. Have a good time with the rest of the tournament.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, I'm here with Clarence. So, Clarence, introduce yourself. Tell us about what armies you play and whatnot.
My name is Clarence Lee. I'm from the city of Vaughan. I play 40K in fantasy. I brought Dark Elves today. It's a mostly fast cav army running around shooting, casting magic. I also play many armies in fantasy. My last army was Empire, had all cavalry, etc. I've been playing for about 18 years now, so I've got tons of armies. Every year I try to build something new. For new players, I would recommend doing what you enjoy. So if you like to paint, lavish your time painting, if you want to play, game, but don't feel caught up to change your hobby based on other people, enjoy the hobby the way you want to enjoy it, because it's not just gaming, there's stories, there's meeting people, the camaraderie. So stick to what you enjoy about the hobby, because there's many ways to enjoy it, it's not just one way.
Awesome. So how did you first get into Warhammer?
I got started with my friends back in grade 10. So we were on the school bus heading to high school, and they were like, yeah, we played this game called Warhammer on Fridays, you should come down and check it out. So on Friday, I came down to their basement, and my friends had a full gaming table, beautiful armies, terrain, and I was just in love right away. I grew up playing strategy games like chess and board games, so I love gaming, and I went to an art high school for visual art too, so I combined two of my favorite hobbies into one. And I had 3 good friends that were into it. We played for a good, all throughout high school, every Friday night, so we had a crowd going, and yeah, so that's how I got into it.
Fantastic. So you mentioned it's great for people to get into the hobby with whatever part they appreciate of it. So for people who are looking to get into the tournament scene, who are maybe a little bit apprehensive about it,
Yep.
what suggestions would you have for them?
I would say you want to probably search the internet to see what people are bringing, and popular builds tend to spread around, so you can adapt to what you see on the internet, and then you got to practice. The key thing is, a lot of people net list and they think, oh, okay, well this guy won with this army, so it's got to be good, but until you actually play it on the table, you don't appreciate the subtle nuances. So I got to say, you got to practice if you want to get good in the tournament scene, and you just got to be a little, I think, when you're playing in a tournament, you got to be like methodical. You got to be like, okay, it's a game. I'm trying to win. So yeah, I'm gonna cannon off this general if I can. You may feel bad afterwards, but if you're trying to win the game, those are the things you got to do. So no mercy. Go for the throat. Methodical, ruthless. Go for the win kind of thing.
All right, fantastic. And what are your thoughts about the tournament we've had here over the weekend?
I had a great time. I had 6 great games, 6 fun games. The venue was cool. It was really smooth, well run. So I think I had a great time, and I'll come back next year for sure.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Clarence.
No problem.
All right, so I'm here with Chris Haynes. He's one of the tournament organizers for CCBB. Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and the tournament we're having?
Alright, cool. So I'm Chris. I host the Canhammer podcast. You can find us on iTunes, and our website's canhammer.com. We decided to do CCBB, which was, the whole point was to do like a premier tournament in Ottawa. So we chose a premier venue, nice hotel, nice food. We supplied lunch both days. We tried to have top-notch terrain and go a little bit the extra mile with prizes and things like that, because you've probably seen other videos and coverage. We have lots of trophies and lots of army deals and stuff like that. So we really wanted to go all out and just make sure the experience was good. You walk into the hall here, we paid extra for a nice hotel, and it doesn't stink in the hall. It's not hot, it's not sweaty. Actually, it's cold. I'm shivering. I'm not playing a game. The gamers
it's
are
pretty
hot,
cold in
but
there.
those of us not playing are actually cold, which is nice. Nobody's sweating. People were able to do 4 games on Saturday and still be very comfortable, because it's like chilled water in the room at all times, and we had a full healthy lunch buffet with like good quality sandwiches, pasta, salad, and soup. So I think it went really well. Our comp pack was designed to keep the armies fairly tight, so even if something bad happened to you, because we used half points and a lot of scoring like that, you're able to claw back a whole bunch of points and do quite well. There's lots of times guys blew up me just round 1, and they only lost like 10 to 12 or 10 to 14. Sorry, is more accurate. But this system really rewards you to not give up and take a balanced army. You have a Death Star. There might be 4 points every round you can't get because you can't score. Whereas if you have all scoring units but you can't get victory points, you're not going to do super amazing either. You're still going to maybe get a 12-12 or 14-12. But we had a good mix of stuff like that, and it was well received. So.
Yeah, and so we're in the last rounds going on right now. How do you feel about the turnout and how things have been going so far?
Pretty good. We were 42 people. We had 1 last-minute dropout on the list that I didn't know about. We had a couple we knew about due to family and issues like that.
Yep.
And then we had 1 guy that had to leave due to an illness. But we had a ringer, so everything went spot on. Everything was great. It was, actually quite easy. The gamers make it a really fun event.
Yeah.
We've had no issues with sportsmanship, no issues with anything. I maybe 5-6 times a game I'm doing a rules query, but it's always something really minor.
Yeah.
Somebody just doesn't, this weird situation came up and that they've maybe never seen, but it's usually directly out of the rule book. There was 1 or 2 things that maybe I'd fix, like we had a couple scenarios that maybe the Bretonians got a bit shafted on because they had to deploy first and then also go second. Whereas,
right.
Instead of stealing the initiative, the other guy would steal the initiative on the Bretonians, they had to give it to him. And so, you know, they felt a little bit hard done by that, but, you know, it's an older book. It is, and letter of the law, we played it as the letter of the rule book. So that was really the only thing I can super think of that didn't work out.
Hopefully next year anyways, they should have a new book by then.
Yeah, and even then, like, we did, a lot of our deployments were rule book, and we did it as per the rule book and the Army book. So what we just did it the legal way. And that's what we do with a lot of things. If you're allowed to do it, you're allowed to do it here.
Yeah.
We kind of just kept it, you know, let people have fun, bring what they want. Now the one thing that we did is fully painted armies. You need 3-color minimum and based. And we've had lots of comments, you know, the tables are nice, and I'm playing against guys that have fully painted armies. I have a fully painted army, and it just feels right. It feels good. You know, I've been to tournaments where you can play with plastic, and you're not going to win with a plastic army, but people, you know, come here, you're playing a guy with a really rude list and full of plastic, because we have no comp. You know, it comps it yourself. You know, you're not going to go out and buy 6 gyrocopters and paint them the night before. You already own 3, you'll bring 3, right? So I feel like the painting kind of helped us tone things down a bit.
Cool. So any last comments?
No, come next year. We're hoping to expand. We're thinking about adding 40K. We might not, but we're thinking about it. Just to get the numbers up. Like, we'll still run a big 40K.
Yeah.
We want to do it in a hotel so that you can go back to your room, get water, come back to the hall, you know, have a really good experience away from home. You shouldn't go to a tournament, have to drive to the hotel, be bagged when you get home. One thing that we do here that's different than anyone else is, that I know of, is we do 4 games on Saturday. So you come in Saturday, you game all day, but we finish really early on Sunday. So we still get the advantages of having a 6-game spread, but having, you know, people are home. Like, a lot of people come from Toronto, and they're home by 7, 8 o'clock at night if they stop for dinner on the way home. So it makes your weekend enjoyable. You can get to bed early, unpack your army, and be ready for work the next day.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Chris. Great tournament. Can't say enough about how well it's been so far, so thanks a lot, man.
Well, I did with lots of help. So we had Jason Sparks and Andrew, who's actually interviewing me right now, Atkins. These guys, you know, they did a lot of the pre-work. They got a lot of the tables done, which allowed me to concentrate more on the player packs, the websites, and sitting behind the computer all weekend.
Yeah.
So I want to say a big help to all of them. Also, Andrew Weber is our paint judge. He did an awesome job marking armies. He also helped us with a little bit of computer stuff, and I think he's going to come back and help us next year. So if you don't know Andrew, he's just an amazing painter in Ottawa, and he's sitting there and he pumped out 2 Blood Bowl teams in between rounds, and they look fantastic.
Yeah, they look great.
So if he tells you your army needs a bit of work, it needs a bit of work. If he says it's great, right?
Yeah.
Now the one comment for next year is read our pack. We had a lot of people come in, beautiful army, maybe not the best painted score, just because of the fact that they didn't read the pack. You know, if you have no freehand, you lost points. If you had no, so keep in mind that if you read the pack next year and come prepared, you should do very well.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris.